deeper. Go a little further. Come on, come on, come on. Don't stop. Come on. Reach a little higher. Dig a little deeper. Go a little further. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. Come on. Yeah. Come on. Come on. Blessings are coming your way. Go a little further. Don't stop. Don't stop until you get your dream. Don't stop. Get your dream. Until you get your dream. Come on. Don't stop until you get your dream. Don't stop. Get your dream. Come on. Yeah. Don't stop. Come on. Come on. Come on. Go for the goal. Come on. You gotta go for the goal. You gotta go for the goal. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. Come on. Yeah. Come on. Come on. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. Don't stop. Don't stop. Yeah. What you make it a year, you gon' make it a month. And what you make it a month, you gon' make it a week. And what you make it a week, you gon' make it a day. Cause the blessing.
In the mirror and I like what I see. A strong, beautiful black woman staring back at me. One who's seen a lot of pain and had her share of sorrow, but who never gave up hope for a brighter tomorrow. I've been lied to, cheated on, stolen from and hit, but it just made me stronger and I refuse to quit. That's right. And though I've been tempted, I refuse to stoop to their level. I rose above that nonsense and made a liar of the devil. All right now. The devil who said I wasn't good enough, cute enough, or worthy of love, I kicked his butt with divine power from above. Power that says I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me, and brought me out of darkness so that I could see that I'm smart, I'm beautiful, I'm a child of the King. Abundant love for me, he came to bring. Oh yes, when I look in the mirror, I love what I see. That strong, beautiful black woman, that woman is me.
All right, 90.7 WTCC. We have some problems with our Facebook audio, and y'all let me know whether or not y'all can hear me now. Let's play the what was that, Verizon? Was that a Verizon commercial? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Let's do that. Let's do that Verizon commercial. If you can hear me now, let me get my chat up here. If you're on Facebook and you can hear me now, holla if you hear me, okay? All right, I see y'all can hear me. Good. All right, tell a friend, tell somebody. Bishop is on the air. Rep your city, rep your town. Let me know where you're chiming in from. Let me get the right background music up in here. Get the right background. There we go. All right. 90.7 WTCC. Y'all calling in. We ain't got to the subject yet. Let's see what you want. Good morning, caller.
Yes, we can hear you now.
All right. Appreciate you, brother.
So stay safe.
All right. You too. All right. Yes. Chicago, Illinois in the house. Somebody said, finally, there's sound. Yes. We are in here. We got sound. I think y'all had sound all the time over on, you had sound all the time in the Twitter space, but it was my Facebookers who couldn't hear me, and that's an important audience. So we had to make sure we got the sound right. All right, now that we got the sound right, let's get it crunk. Let's get into this subject matter we want to talk about on today. Once again, tell a friend, tell somebody that Bishop is on the air. And since y'all didn't hear me on Facebook at the beginning of the program, I just have to shortly repeat. I gotta shortly repeat one thing that's very, very, very important. That I have joined. I have joined the school of the prophets. Yeah, I've joined the school of the prophets. And I know somebody is saying, what in the world is Bishop even talking about? He joined the school of the prophets. Now, the reason I say I joined the school of the prophets is because those of you who listened to me on the Black Love Experience on Friday, you know that I prophesied. And I gave my pre-game condolences to all of the Dallas Cowboy fans. I got to get this out of it because my Facebookers didn't hear me. I gave my pre-game condolences to my Dallas Cowboy fans. And I prophesied that you all would face a L. That you all would face a L. And lo and behold, you know, one of the things that the Bible says is how you know whether or not a prophet is true is when they prophesy and their prophecy comes to pass. And you know they're a false prophet when they prophesy and their prophecy does not come to pass. Well, you know, my prophecy came to pass. So I get to get my prophet's credentials. Okay? I'm demanding my prophet's license. Okay? I need to have a service. I need to have an installation service. You know, I'm gonna send out invitations to my prophet's installation service, and I'm gonna have an inaugural banquet and all of that stuff. Welcoming myself to the school of the prophets. All right, because I prophesied that y'all was gonna take a L, and y'all took a L. Y'all took a L, you know, and you know, I'm sorry, not sorry about that. Oh, okay, I had to have a little fun. And, oh yeah, I called out some names. So I got to call them out. I got to call them out again. I got to call out some names again. And y'all tell them I said something. What's up, Ahmad Sharif? Bishop Don Shelby. Somebody said, anybody on here who knows Bishop Shelby, hit him up. Tell him Bishop Swan talking junk about the Cowboys. Bishop Don Shelby. Bishop Nathan Wells. Yeah, Lavonda, Mason, Vestal, my sister-in-law. Yeah, y'all hit all them up, tag them, and let them know I'm talking smack about the Cowgirls right now. All right? Springdale, Maryland, and I'm inviting, and I want all of them to come and bring an offering at my prophet's installation service. Okay, at my inaugural prophet banquet. Woodbridge, Virginia is in the house. Woodbridge, Virginia is in the house. Chicago, Illinois is up in the building. Who else is up in here? Come on now. Let me know where you're chiming in from. Chi-Town is in the building. Who else is up in here? I didn't even get my I didn't even put my Instagrammers on, but you know what? They just gonna have to come on over here on the Facebook side. Come on over, Lord side. Come on over, Lord side. All right. Let's get this. This 1350 This 1350 myth. For those of you who didn't have audio when we first began, one of the most common talking points of the racist right is that black people are only 13% of the population, but they make up 50%, they commit 50% of the crime. That is a lie that gets told over and over and over and over again. You see that all of it's the 1350 myth. You know, that we're 13% of the population, but we commit over half the crime in the nation. That's a lie from the pit of Hades. And it's used as a talking point, once again, to castigate, dehumanize, ostracize, and stereotype black people. And it's just flat out not true. Flat out not true. And I'm going to use their own statistics. I'm going to use their own against them. Because obviously they can't read. Because there's some stuff in those stats that they quote that they keep missing. They keep missing for some reason. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. Happy New Year. There's no sound.
The sound went out again. All right, thank you. Y'all gonna have to just come on the radio. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happening with the sound on Facebook. For some reason, I keep losing my sound. I don't know why. I thought my sound was good. It looks like my sound is good to me. Y'all tell me on Facebook if y'all can still hear me. Somebody is saying I got no sound, but I just looked over and I see the green light come on and the sound like it's good. All right, y'all can hear me. They can. I'm sorry, sis. That's your check your computer out. Everybody else on Facebook can hear me. All right, everybody else can hear me. So yeah, that's your thing. Praise Jesus. So I'm gonna use their own stats. They keep saying, they keep using the 1350 argument. It's overused and it's underanalyzed. And it aids in perpetuating lies about the black community and in casting an unfounded presumption of guilt onto us. Because as long as people, police officers and those in law enforcement believe that lie, well, you know, they do commit over half the crime, then automatically we become suspects. Automatically, you know, they cast guilt on us automatically, and you know, I don't know why, because if they read the same stats that they use, they would know that what they're saying is a straight up lie. But I don't think that they really want to push the truth. I don't think they want to push the truth. I think what they really want is they want to promulgate a lie. They that's their mission. That's their mission. Their mission is to tell a lie. Because, you know, they want to cast aspersions on black people, and they want to keep perpetuating and supporting a systemic anti-black racism. The argument proposes that while black people make up only 13% of the population, we commit half of all known crime. You know, and then sometimes they go up from there. They They make it 60%. They do it. Now, what they taking this from, and I need y'all, somebody help me out in the audience to pull up these stats. See, this 50% statistic is derived from the FBI's Uniform Crime Reporting statistics. Okay? And these statistics, first of all, they're not even accurate. It's important to know that, first of all, the data only refers to arrests that are made, not convictions. It only refers to arrests that are made, not conviction. And then the FBI admits that the statistics rely on voluntary reports from law enforcement, and they have all kinds of problems getting police departments across the nation to even submit reports. Okay? So you got a bunch of departments that underreport, that report disproportionately about black people, and some of them just don't report at all. So these stats are all messed up. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Bishop. Your favorite ward city councilor here.
All right.
I'm calling because, as I agree with what you're saying, and as you probably know, the statistics, of course, could be made to say anything that they want to say. And we know, a lot of people might say that it's not true, but we know that if a white person and a black person or a person of color commits a crime, the white person, of course, is more likely to be let go from the get-go. They're not going to be arrested. They're not going to be prosecuted. I remember it was a comedian, I think, was talking about one day he was driving down the highway with a boatload of drugs in his car, and the police drove right by him, waved at him. And as you know, people of color are more likely to be stopped for no reason, trumped up with charges for no reason. And statistically, that's what I believe contributes to the perception that the 1350 rule, which is of course a total lie, like you said.
And the other thing is they have proven over and over again that these particular law enforcement departments are completely biased against black people. When the after the incidents that happened in Ferguson, and the FBI went into Ferguson, they found all kinds of disparities in how they were reporting crime and how they were profiling the black community. And Ferguson is just a microcosm of the wider United States, where these disparities happen all over the country, and they completely skew these so-called statistics.
Absolutely.
All right, well, I appreciate you.
Systemic racism.
Absolutely. And you're not only my favorite ward counselor, you're my ward counselor.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
All right. 413-736-2781. I'm gonna get y'all in the Twitter space up into this conversation. Now, here's the stats they don't talk about. Now, I need y'all to go to UCR. Somebody put the link in the chat section. Go to ucr.fbi.gov, ucr.fbi.gov, and pull up the latest statistics. And I'm going to throw out some stats that's going to blow your mind, and that's going to have you wondering, why are these folks even promulgating this 1350 lie when the FBI stats don't even say what they're saying that they say? Good morning, caller. Good morning, caller.
Oh, sorry. I didn't think you'd actually respond. The boy you shot.
You're on the air.
Yeah, Yeah, I'm on the air. I hear you.
Okay, well, you must not want to say anything. I can't just sit here with you saying nothing. 413-736-2781. The stats don't even say what they say they're saying. What they're saying is the stats, FBI stats say we're 13% of the population. We commit over 50% of the crime. The stats don't even say that. That's why I gave you the link, and I want you to look it up for yourself. Once again, ucr.fbi.gov. Who commits most of the crime? According to those statistics, if you pull them up right now, those statistics, when they break them down by demographics, say that white people commit 69.6 of all crimes. 69.6, nearly 70% of all crime is committed by white folks. The same stats can't say two different things. You can't say, yeah, according to the FBI, y'all are 13% of the population, you commit over 50% of the crime, when those same stats say right in front of your face that white people commit 69.6%. It's right there. It's right there. Not only does it say they commit nearly 70% of all crime, they commit 67.6% of all rapes. Nearly 70% of people who get raped by a white person. 62.8% of aggravated assault. And I'm not making these stats up. This is according to the FBI stats that they keep quoting. 62.8% of aggravated assault. 68.4% of all burglaries. If your house gets robbed, there's almost a 70% chance that it was a white person, according to these FBI stats that they keep quoting. 72% of all sex offenses. 72% of all sex offenses. 71% of drug abuse violations. Okay? And guess what? If you got a loved one who was ever in an accident by somebody that was drunk, it was probably a white person, because 82% of all DUIs are white folks. According to the same stats that they quote to try to prove that we commit most of the crime. Okay? It's right there. And it's not just in the most recent year. You can go back the last 5-7 years, and those statistics will be consistent. Consistently, white folks commit nearly 70% of all crimes. Now, here's where I'm going to mess y'all up, because what the average white person will do when I bring this up, when I blow them up, when I drop the receipts, because I often will just pull up and screenshot the FBI stats and drop it into my Twitter feed and just drop the receipt when they come up with that. Okay, you're a liar. Bam, here's the stats. And so when you drop the receipts, you know what they say then? They then say, well, duh, that's because white people are the majority. So, of course, we're going to have a higher percentage of the crime. Well, two problems with that. Two problems with that. One, you lied and said we commit most of the crime. So you got busted in that lie. You got busted in that lie. Then number two, yeah, white folks are the majority. But they ain't 70%. Not only are they not 70%, let's break it down even further.
Hey, Mr. Swan, how are you?
I'm good. You?
I'm doing well. This is one of my favorite topics. I love destroying the black on black crime, and we disproportionately commit the most crime, myth, and lie. The thing, Mr. Swan, is that I hear from a lot of our old people who drink the Kool-Aid and like to repeat this lie. So I like to use facts and not feelings. And here are the facts. You already mentioned a lot of them, but you can go and we look at the FBI records, even when they were the Bureau of Federal Investigation, when Hoover was over them, and he was cooking the book and framing leaders. From then, and that was around the 1960s to now, there has not been 1 year where any number of the black population has always been less than 1% of the black population on any given year will commit a violent crime. That's less than 1%. But now here's on which people do not focus. You've already mentioned how the FBI data shows arrest. They do not show conviction. And it is no surprise nor secret that black Americans are overly policed and most likely to be arrested for crimes they did not commit. They are also most likely to be convicted of crimes that we have not committed. People like to talk about how we're disproportionately represented in crime. They don't ever talk about how we're disproportionately represented in exonerations. Over 60% of those
talk about that
to be innocent for crimes in which they serve prison time are black Americans. The FBI data does not show that. Another thing, and you mentioned this, but I'm going to add some numbers to it. They talk about FBI data. The FBI data only records like 64% of police precincts. The remaining percent are from majority white neighborhoods and communities that do not report their crime at all. So we're not even getting a full picture of who's committed the most crime, because a lot of white majority areas do not even submit their reports to the FBI like the FBI wants them to do. Third of all, Black Americans, crime does not correlate with race. It correlates usually with poverty.
There it is.
Have been forced into poverty, and yet a poor Black American is less likely to commit a violent crime than a poor white American. So in reality, looking at the conditions we face from inherited trauma to poverty, we are the least likely to commit a violent crime in America, because no other group experiences poverty at the rate we do, and we are still overall a people who are very peaceful and very nonviolent. And last but not least, people like to talk about disproportionate representation. White men are like 29 to 30% of the population. You've already brought this up. I just love repeating it. And yet commit over 50% of violent crimes in the nation. So people need to talk about that white male violent crime criminality problem and stop worrying about others. Just give us our reparations. I land there. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, there you have it. The doors of the church are now open. The doors of the church are now open. We're going to take an offering for Brother Marcel. Listen, absolute facts on what was laid out there. And especially the part where he talked about the effect that poverty has on crime. Poverty is among the leading causes of crime in the United States, crime and criminality. The lack of quality education is among the leading causes of poverty. And you can't have this discussion about crime without bringing that up. You just can't do it. And even though poverty is one of the leading causes of crime, we still don't commit the most crime, even though we live in poverty at a higher rate than the white population that's committing the crime. And he was absolutely right in terms of being peaceful. Listen, I often say this. America is fortunate that black people have always sought justice and not revenge. Okay? If we were violent people, we would be seeking revenge. We've never sought revenge. We've always sought justice. I'm going to take a chance on you, M1 Unknown 56. If you're a troll and you're in here with the nonsense, you're going to get put out the room. Just want you to understand that.
Good afternoon, Bishop.
Yes.
Yeah, so I just want to say, why is it that all these politicians, that when they are being racist to the other races, they are quick to call it out. They are quick to call Trump out for calling Mitch McConnell's wife Cole Kochal, and for Trump met him with an anti-Semite. But why would they never condemn Trump for all his anti-black racism?
Say that one more time. M1, say that one more time. All right, I must have lost him. I don't know. He said something about Trump and anti-Semitism and anti-black racism. And in any case, 413-736-2781, 413-736-2781. If you're comparing whether or not somebody gets called out for anti-blackness or anti-Semitism, listen, you already know. You already know there's going to be a different price to pay for offending the Jewish population than there is for offending black people. Offending black people is as American as apple pie, and there are seldom any real consequences for that. And you saw that with Kanye. As long as Kanye was talking grimy about black people, Wearing White Lives Matter, calling slavery a choice, talking grimy about Harriet Tubman, and all this foolishness. He didn't face no consequences. Soon as he offended Jewish people, they stripped him of $1.5 billion, canceled his contracts, and the whole nine. There's always going to be a different response when you offend Jewish folks versus when you offend black people. Because offending black people is the American way. You can do that and not worry about that. Ryan Grimes, you are in the space. You got the microphone. Holla at your boy.
Oh, cool. Hello. I came into the space late and was just wondering where I could find like the data points on the poor whites and poor blacks crime statistics.
Just go to ucr.fbi.gov. All of those stats. All those stats that these folks are using is right there. There are various charts that they have. And once again, you got to be careful because, as Brother Marcel brought out, and as I stated earlier, these statistics are based on voluntary reporting. And many municipalities don't report at all. There's no law that requires them to report. And as he stated, many predominantly white cities, towns, municipalities, precincts, etc. don't report. They don't report. So these stats are hardly indicative of credible statistics about what's going on across the United States. But even so, what the stats do prove is the proficiency with which racist white folks tell lies, because even the statistics that the FBI does provide don't say what they lie and say it says. Those stats do not say that black people commit over 50% of all crime. It clearly says that white folks commit 70%, 69.6 to be exact in the most recent stats, nearly 70% of all crime. So they just made that statistic up, and it took off like wildfire, and all your racist white folks consistently repeat that stat. You're only 13% of the population, you commit over 50% of the crime. That's just a blatant lie. Period. Chase Savage, you're in the Twitter space, you got the microphone.
Yes, good morning, Bishop. I haven't been in your spaces for a while. I hope you're doing all right, and the rest of the family. Good morning, everybody. I hope all of y'all is doing good, man.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I wanted to build off of what you had just said, sir. I think that I like to look at where the root was at. And black people don't even realize when they say black on black, that was something that was birthed out of 4chan. And we all should know what 4chan is. That was a talking point that came out of 4chan. The Heritage Foundation, y'all family, y'all should know about that. A lot of their talking points. Christopher Ruffalo, he was the main one who started the thing about CRT. He made an argument just to keep people going in circle. There wasn't even teaching CRT in K through 12, family.
Still don't.
Right, and still don't. But this was something that came out of 4chan. And, I monitor what them folks are talking about. The next thing you're going to start hearing, and I swear this is the talking point that's going around there, is you're going to start hearing that white people was on the slave ships. They had the Irish and the Italians on those slave ships with y'all. Okay, these are these talking points that they're making out of that. So, family, be careful when you hear that BS thing about, black on black. Man, that's just a tactic.
Well, and here's the other thing, brother. Here's the other thing, brother, is that
Yes, sir.
is that most crime is about proximity. Now, do black people who get murdered mostly get murdered by other black people? Yes, but that statistic is true for white folks, for Asian folks, for Latino folk. 89% of all white people who get murdered by a white person. But nobody ever says white on white crime. Nobody ever says Latino on Latino crime. 86% of all Asians who get murdered by Asian people. Nobody ever talks about Asian on Asian crime, but somehow black on black crime is a thing, and black people repeat that foolishness at a disproportionate rate as well. I get so sick of hearing black people, when we talk about anti-black racism, who want to come back with, but what about black on black crime? Man, I feel like laying hands on them in Jesus' name.
Yeah, Bishop. I thank you for your patience, man, and putting in the work. We need to get somebody. We need to get you running. You know what I'm saying? Because I know I can trust you. I know that you're going to have our sentiments and our people, because you have an understanding of what humanity is. And see, look, I don't know why we, in this day and time, that we're shocked at what these people do to us. We can't get scared into saying, oh, well, Trump is coming back. Ron DeSantis is work. And guess what? We're still going to be alive.
Yeah, we're gonna make it. We done made it. We done made it through bigger boogers than Trump before. Yeah. And you're right. I think Ron DeSantis is more dangerous than Trump is, because he's smarter than he is.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to run to re-elect Sleepy Joe and Kamala. No, make a stand.
Yeah.
Let these Democrats fall on their face unless they speak to your interests. Marcel, he speaks to our interests.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, if these people aren't talking to our interests, don't even pay them no attention. I slam my door on their face just like I do Jehovah's Witnesses. I land on that, Bishop. Thank you for the good work, sir.
All right.
And thank you for letting me come up to speak to you.
Appreciate you. Man, I wish I had more time. About 4 minutes left, and coming up next is Mid-Morning Jazz, so stay tuned. Great black music, always here on WTCC. Let me see if I can throw a couple more up in here. Reverend Tim, you got the microphone.
Good morning, Bishop, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to, I'm not going to hold you long, but I wanted to see if you're into, or have you saw anything about these black ranchers out in Colorado, about what's going on with the brothers out there.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all I wanted. I just want to throw that out there. Appreciate you and what you do. I enjoy you every time I get the opportunity.
All right, appreciate you, Rev. Take care.
All righty.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that and some other subjects as well. Now let me deal with very briefly this kid who shot his teacher in Virginia. So I said, because you had seen nothing about him, heard nothing about his parents getting arrested or anything. So I said, if it was a black kid, they would have arrested his mama, his daddy, his sister, his brothers, his cousins, yada, 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 yada. So on and so forth. So there are people all over my timeline. There's even people in these comments saying, ha, 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 the kid who shot the teacher was black. There's no proof of that. There's no proof of that at all. They don't have a name. They have no identifying information. There's nobody who's testifying it was a black kid. You know where they got that from? In a New York Post article. And New York Post is one of the most racist publications in America. A New York Post screen grab showed a picture of the teacher, a picture of the school, and a picture of a little black boy on a skateboard with no identifying information. And then the story that screen grab it referred to mentioned nothing about the race of the boy. Didn't mention his name, didn't mention his family's name, nothing. And so they took that screen grab and they said, this proves the kid was black. And so they're all over Twitter beating their chests because of this New York Post article that proves nothing, saying, ha ha, na 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 na, the kid who shot the teacher was black. When they just arrested a white dude for murdering 4 University of Idaho students, stabbing them to death. It's like, and this goes to my point about who commits the crime. They're so used to every time there being a mass shooting, a mass murder, some heinous crime, some serial killing, some demented, demonic, wicked type of inhumanity happening, that it being a white male, that they get happy when they think that it was somebody black. Oh, the kid that shot the teacher was black. I mean, they're just ready to accept it and have a party on it because they know, as I have stated over and over again, that whiteness is an unrelenting, demonic force of evil. Now, I said whiteness. I didn't say white people. Whiteness, the concept of whiteness, white superiority, white supremacy, white domination. Whiteness is an unrelenting demonic force of evil that has subjugated black people in this nation and continues to try to do so. So that's my response to those trolls up in my comments talking about the 6-year-old boy was black. Prove it. What's his name? Where does he live? What's his parents' name? And show me any other publication in America beside the New York Post that showed a picture, a name, or anything. If you can't drop those receipts, then shut up. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. You can't prove it to me. Sci-fi.
Yes, hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Bishop Swan. All right, so I'm Sci-Fi Stewie, and I'm actually coming in from Jamaica.
All right.
This is my first time hearing your show, and I have to agree. You've given me some perspective, especially with your points on the fact that the statistics don't count for the exonerations, especially regarding to people who are falsely arrested, and in some cases even arrested for crimes worse than the offense that they would have actually been wound up doing had they been committing the crime, let's say for argument's sake, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and I'd like to thank you for that. There's also a very good point that was raised, I would say, for the Democratic side. Trust me, I'm looking in, I see the fact that these people, for all the hand-wringing, virtue signaling they do, they really don't represent the black community. They don't have your
No, they want our vote, not our voice. They don't want to hear our voice, and they don't want to speak to our concerns, and they don't want to work to complete an agenda that is in the best interest of black people, like they do for everybody else. They come in and they hand out something to everybody: LGBTQ, Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders, immigrants, one-legged people, hunchback, everybody but black people. And then they tell black people, well, we'll get you after the next election. Just make sure you keep us in office. Make sure you give us more seats in Congress. Make sure you give us more seats in the Senate. And then we'll get to reparations. We'll get to police reform. We'll get to restoring the Voting Rights Act. We'll get to all of that stuff down the line. But we can't do anything specific for black people right now. And that's why people are tired of Democrats.
quite right. It's very much a hostage situation. And I find it to be especially egregious considering that Jim Crow Joe Biden, all right, because I know you know, and I know many educating these people know of his crime bills back in the day.
Yeah.
All right, that a lot of black people are saying, well, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. And then people are falling for that.
Oh man, that's a classic line. It never going. He's never going to be able to live that line down, telling people that they ain't black. Listen, I got to get out your way. Cynthia Butler's coming up next with Mid Morning Jazz here on WTCC. Check me out on Friday on the Black Love Experience at 9:00 a.m. We'll be back then. If you're looking for a place to worship, check us out at the Spring of Hope Church of God in Christ, 35 Alden Street, Springfield, Massachusetts, 11:00 a.m. on Sunday morning. I gotta go eat breakfast. I gotta get out of here. We'll continue this conversation on Friday. Until the next time I talk to you and you talk to me, always remember, God loves you, so do I. Don't y'all go nowhere. If you're here in the Pioneer Valley, stay tuned. Good music is coming up next.